So there was through trail camera pictures, through seeing him on the hoof, there was this buck that I named Megatron. And the first time we saw him was mid-October. He came in, and I was hunting a corner, like there was imagine a fence line, two fence lines interchanging, and they make a T, right? Or a T post or whatever. Southeast of that intersection is a timber. Southwest is a marsh. Northwest is a cornfield. And to the east or northeast is a quadrant, or whatever you want to say it is more timber that leads. It's like a hill that's timbered that leads to more ag. And so it is the morning of probably, maybe it was actually late October. It's a morning hunt. And we're kind of 20 yards inside the timber. There's a good trail where these deer run north south, and they kind of parallel this cornfield. And we're sitting about 50 yards off of this this four-wheeler track, and we're about 20, 30 yards from the cornfield. And here comes Megatron. All right. And I'm like, hey, big deer coming down the two-track. He turns around and starts to film it. And sure enough, it's like this mid 160 class, maybe low 170 class, pure 8-pointer. I mean, just imagine a 170-inch 8-pointer walking through the timber. It was one of the most glorious moments that I've ever seen in my life. I have a 154-inch 9-pointer downstairs, and that buck that's downstairs could easily fit inside the rack of this 8-pointer that I had deemed Megatron. And so Megatron comes down, he's doing this scent checking, he looks at some does, and he just kind of goes north. We were south of his position, and we had the wind, it was all good, he didn't bust us. And so I said to myself, that's the buck I want. That's kind of what I was doing back in the day, was kind of going after 2 or 3 deer that were of that caliber, maybe 150s or over. And back then I was passing deer I should have shot too. You guys have heard that story as well. Anyway, I start making plays on this buck. I start putting trail cameras in places where I didn't have them, trying to locate them. Long story short, I locate this buck. He has since moved into the bigger timber of the farm, and because I don't think I don't think the deer were ready, or the does were ready down in the bottoms. So he's now looking for other doe groups, that active type searching before the rut gets crazy, probably before the first does go in. Obviously my favorite time of year is to hunt when the bucks are ready to breed, but the does are not. And so deer are covering a lot of ground. They're looking for specific doe groups. And so I got a picture of this buck nocturnal in the big timber, like at 3 a.m. Usually that didn't mean anything, but now I knew where he was at. So we bounce into this pinch point that I had a trail camera in that I did not check. However, previous year's history tells me this pinch point generates a lot of traffic through here. It's a cattle pasture. It's an outside corner of a cattle pasture that is in big timber. Cattle pastures to the southwest. Everything else is timber. And so I'm sitting just off that. And he comes through, and it's 80 degrees. It's November 4th or 5th. I was wearing a t-shirt. We did a run and gun in on this ridge. Sure enough, 4:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, he shows up out of some random thick area, and he just flanks our position. And long story short, the second encounter, he gets downwind of us. And so he gets downwind, and I had no Ozonics running. He just barely got to it, and then his mood changed. And then at that point I knew, dude, it's over, right? I tried to grunt him in, and his head came up, and he was looking for something. But it just didn't work, right? He went down the backside of the ridge, and I didn't, if I would have been 10 yards further to the north in my tree on that ridge, I would have had a shot opportunity at him. It didn't work out. All right. I saw that buck another time at a long distance in that big chunk of timber that year, chasing a doe. And eventually my buddy Ryan had to go back home. He had kids and he had a job. And so he couldn't just be my personal cameraman all season. And so in 2013, the rut kind of just trickled away from me, and I didn't have it. I didn't have any opportunities. I didn't see that buck again.